What's up, Pastor?
Good evening, Shufflebus Nation. What's up? It's your boy Jesse back here with Neil, and we're going to jump right into the Digitize Dustup here. And basically, I'm not really sure how we're going to do it because I got to be able to chat with AFG Dragon Rider from the TCG Roundup table. Link is in our description for their channel. Please go give them a sub if you're not sub to them already on YouTube. We're going to do the Digitized Dustup matchup, and then we're going to quickly jump over to Neil and Eli's Shufflebus Fall Qualifier match, and then if we have time, we'll try to get spoilers done. So we got a pretty fully loaded show, so we're not going to spend a bunch of time. We're going to jump right into it. Neil is going to commentate the match. I'm going to pull my headphones off. I'll leave my video up so you can ensure that I'm not cheating. And yeah, we'll just see if... I don't really have any other way to mute Dragon Rider on my desktop, so it's just going to be what it'll be. Whenever he talks, you'll have to wait for him to finish up. So you'll hear half of this game's conversation. I apologize for the awkwardness of that, but that's just the way it will be tonight. Till we can figure out get my old stuff set up. How do you want me to do it?
Because OBS is pulling from desktop audio, huh?
Right, exactly.
That's the problem. It can't just pull from Discord.
Right. I don't think I can pull just from Zoom. Let me see if I can change
double
this.
Super awkward.
Let's see if I can add an audio input here.
Yeah, that would be good.
Let's call it Zoom and see if I can just get the Zoom input.
Ryan here at the beginning of the show. What kind of witchcraft is this?
Yeah, it doesn't see it. So I think I can do it if I get the old virtual audio cable. That's how we used to do this, but I don't have it installed on this computer because we kind of moved away from it. So I need to just get that all set up. Yeah, we got a full schedule tonight. So
why don't you just like play with your opponent then, and I will not commentate so that chat doesn't get me talking over random game talking.
That's fine. We can do that.
I'll just chill and
you can chill and watch the game.
Watch the game and
sounds
type
good.
In chat.
All right, I'm gonna fire up the conversation with Dragon Rider, and then we'll go from there. Let me see here. How do I do that? How do I start a call? It has changed. Start voice call. There we go. Hello, Dragon Rider. How are you tonight?
Hello, I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Doing great. Thank you. Appreciate it. Just to let you know, you are live on air. So don't say anything you wouldn't want your grandmother to hear.
Well, hello, everyone.
Yeah, welcome to the Shuffle Bus. Appreciate you being on with us tonight. Basically, my computer is not set up for us to do this the way we normally do it, which is where I can play a match while Neil commentates. So Neil's just going to hang out in the background. You and I are going to be able to chit-chat while we play the game, and that's what our audience is going to get tonight. So that's until I can get the computer changed over where I can isolate down our audio sources and just let Neil be heard. That's pretty much all I've got for tonight. Gotta love technology. So I think we're pretty much ready to go here. So if you're ready, we can fire it up and get started here. Let me pull this up here. All right. So yeah, I think I'm ready for setup if you are.
Perfect. Yeah, I should be ready to go.
It has been a while since I played on TTS. I'm just going to be really honest here.
Yeah, it had been a while for me as well until last week. And it was like, oh yeah, I got to get back to using this.
So chat what are the Vegas odds of me winning as Neil's asking in chat? So we'll see how that goes for me here, but probably not going to go great. Looks like you've got the Forge to get us started.
All right. Let's see. Let's start out with something simple here.
You know what's funny is there are cards in this deck I have never played.
Yes.
So I don't even know what they do at a higher level. I'm like, what am I getting into if I upgrade this card? All right.
Yeah, so actually this the Aloyan deck I actually had to borrow from Ryan from KC Kid because I only have like 10 decks and only a couple of those are Aloyan and none of them had a Digitize.
Nice.
So he had to give me a list of some decks to use with Digitize.
Arrogant Drone's a really good start for you. I guess I'll do Stone Fist in this lane. And then it's back to you.
Okay. All right, let's go ahead and drop the polymorpher. You know I got to use that deploy and turn that thing into a little wisp.
Fair enough. Okay. Well, you know, it's not a Digitize Dustup unless you have to play your Digitize. So
there you go.
I would have much rather that have been on the bigger creature here, but I'll take the 7/7 Wisp, I guess.
Yeah, seems good.
All right, so let's go combat then.
Yep.
All right, so I'm going to take 12 here immediately. Go to 38. We are right off the bat starting just the way we wanted to start, chat. Just a cool 12 right out of the way.
Okay, and then get the when this damages a player, I get to upgrade a card.
Yep.
Let's go ahead and upgrade the Sonic Burst.
Oof. Sonic Burst is such a good card.
All right. And that's discarded, so we're all set?
Yep, we're all set.
All right.
Jesse, can you hear me still?
Yeah, I can hear you, Neil.
Chat thinks the polymorpher cheated.
Why?
It doesn't.
Enemy minion with a Wisp minion. Oh, you're right. You're right. That's true, because that wasn't a minion. That was a Stone Fist.
Ah, yes.
So this would be... I guess the question is, do we rewind all the way back to the polymorpher? Because we don't know... I guess we know kind of cards that were in the hand from the 5 that are here. Or do we want to just leave it as this and put the Digitize out on the Stone Fist as planned?
Yeah, just do that.
Okay.
I'm fine with that.
All right, so this is a 9.
Since we only did that one turn and didn't get any, I don't think anything really would have changed. So.
Yeah, that's fair. And I still would have taken the 12 this way, so it keets the game state pretty well intact here.
Yep, sorry about that.
No,
My bad.
You are good. Let's start with the Warmonger mod. Put a gizmo out here. Say go.
All right. Now we'll change it. Oops. That dentrify there.
Replace one creature with an Oakfather minion. Okay.
Yep.
Hooray, Oakfather minions. My second card will be a War Machine here. So it gets a +2/+2 from the gizmo. And then it triggers its ability for +4, so it's an 8/12.
All right. Go ahead and let's animate that.
Oof. All the removal.
Yeah.
Why is that with 7/7? There we go. Okay. So, combat?
Looks like it.
All right. So I take 5 here, go to 3. You take 4 breakthrough. I take 5 breakthrough and go to 33. And the polymorphers I won.
Okay. It's that time.
Digitize.
Digitize.
That is a big polymorpher. Okay. What do I want to do here? I guess I'll digitize as well. So 13, 8.
See how many digitize we can play in a game where neither of us have a bounty.
We're at 4 now. just an FYI, with no bounties. It's not good. I think it's 3. I think 2 for me, 1 for you. But whoever plays the most digitize is probably losing. Just seems pretty likely.
All right, let's go ahead and let's energy prison. Give that -7.
Okay.
And I get to upgrade. Card in my hand. Let's upgrade. Batter hide.
Okay. Put a Drex out. Ugh. Why can't I grab that? There he is. Stem the bleed a little bit here.
Yeah.
Go combat?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. I'm going to take 10, go to 23. I'm just losing to a polymorpher here. You'll take 6, go to 40. And the polymorph will go to 4.
Oh my gosh. I cannot get my mouse correct here.
Should be 4. It only took 2. It was at 6. It was at 6. So, there you go.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Kept moving.
Yeah, that's all right. I like having the issue of like right-clicking to change things, and my camera wants to turn while I'm doing it.
Oh, no.
I think my mouse is a little too sensitive right now.
Okay. And we do have our first abilities, correct?
We do now, yes. Let's slam that polymorpher for 4 and kill it. And then I will activate Drix and put a Gizmo minion in that lane.
All right. All right, let's go ahead and
new polymorpher.
get the other polymorpher. I guess we'll go for the Drix.
Okay. Okay. Oh, decisions. Okay. I'm going to play... I'm going to do this first. I'm going to use my Inspire to do Gathering Storm. And then I'm going to play Fit of Rage. And since I played Primordial Slam first, I've played 2 spells. So I get to give 2 creatures plus 4 and Breakthrough. This one's already got Breakthrough. We'll do this guy. And then, since I had Gathering Storm, I get to deal 3 damage to a player or creature. I'm going to deal 3 damage to that polymorpher.
Oh, no.
I hope you have a Digitize. That's what I'm really crossing my fingers for. I'm not lying.
That's exactly why I said, oh no.
We did it, chat. We got there.
No, rip the plan.
Which one do you want to digitize?
Let's go for the 2/2.
Take that to 7.
Oh, right. No. Disaster.
So we go to combat?
Yes.
23.
Oh, no.
Woo! I was like, man, I hope she has a Digitize, because if not, I am just setting myself up to get crushed here.
Yeah.
All right.
Yikes. All right. All right. I am going to go for this. So sad. I'm going to go for this Inventor and deploy. I'll get a Gizmo. And I'm going to use my Forgeborn ability here.
Okay.
I'm going to... Oh, that's just that part. Going to give the Inventor the +4.
Okay.
Sorry, no, the Gizmo the +4. And since it's a minion, I get to deal 4. So I will deal 4 to your center Gizmo.
Sounds good. Love that Oros ability. Or Nova ability, sorry.
As long as I have the cards to set it up and do it properly, it's great.
Okay, I'm going to play Digitize. and make this an 18-8.
All right.
And then send it back to you.
All right. I am also going to play Digitize.
Nice. Yeah.
And I don't think it really matters which one I buff. Guess this one here.
Okay. Second card play is going to be Warmonger mod. Play Gizmo minion here. I can play a creature for free, play Drix. And then play another Gizmo minion. Do I want to replace this one? That's the question. I think I do. I'll replace this Gizmo on this lane, so that makes it a +4/+4, or 4/4, and then it gets another +2/+2, so it becomes a 6/6.
Okay.
And then we go combat.
Yep.
So Wisp and Gizmo trade. Oakfather takes 6 and goes to 2 and deals 16.
Not dead yet.
Not dead yet. No.
Technically
not dead
still
yet.
alive.
What? Oh, the Warmonger mod. Yeah, there we go. Sorry. Okay. So I start us here. So I guess I'm going to start with Drix. Makes sense. Go out here, and then I'll play a Stampeding Worm on that, which gives it +4/+4. So it's 13/6.
I mean, it really doesn't matter what I do at this point. Just for the sake of playing things.
Yeah.
Let's replace this guy into a
with another Oakfather. Not an 18-2 Oakfather, but an 8-8, just a regular 8-8 Oakfather.
Right. Yeah. It's so much better.
Yeah, I think so. Wow. What do I want to do? I think this is my best play. I'm just going to put a Rallying Tinker over this Gizmo. So this will get +2/+2 from the Gizmo, so it'll go to a 4/5. It gets +2/+2 from the Drix, it goes to a 6/7. And then it gives all my creatures +2/+2 because it replaced a creature. So 15/8. 8/9. 4/10. And then a 10/10.
All right.
Put a 6/5 Taunting Tactician.
Yeah, I can move an enemy creature to that lane. Sure.
Yeah. Occupied.
Yeah.
Occupado. All right. So combat, and that'll be it, right? I think we finished it.
Yeah.
That was a lot of digitizes.
I think we finished it like 2 turns ago, but
yeah,
we did play a lot of digitize.
There was a lot of digitize. That was fun. So just real quick for everybody that's in chat, give a shout out to your channel. Where can they find you guys? What do you like to cover? Just talk a little bit about your channel for a few minutes for me.
Yeah, sure. So both Ron and he couldn't join this evening, but we do the TCCG Roundtable podcast. We run that live on my personal YouTube channel, which is Dragon Rider TCCG. But every week we talk about a whole variety of card games. We cover various news, We cover competitive and organized play, things that are going on. And then we usually dive into either a specific topic related to card games or one of the specific games, or we have guests on from a bunch of different card games to talk about different stuff.
Cool. That's awesome. So what have been some of the things you've been really covering a lot lately? Has it been Solforge or has it been other things?
We've done a mix of stuff. I mean, lately it's also been like Disney Lorcana because that just came out. So, of course, got to talk about the new games.
It's very hot.
Yes. Yeah. For better or worse there.
Yeah.
We also have somewhat recently had some guests on. We had Pocket Train from the Hearthstone scene. He just took second place in the most recent major Hearthstone tournament and is looking like he's going to probably end up going to the World Championship at the end of the year. So we had him on to interview him about the most recent tournament, just kind of his, journey from starting in card games and starting in Hearthstone into competing at the highest levels.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, that's awesome. And you said that was Hearthstone that he's playing it? Or
yep.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So you actually even cover the digital side of this a little bit then?
Yeah, and actually, that is the card game that both of us play the most.
Oh, cool!
But we do just cover a lot of different stuff, and find a lot of news and cover digital and physical card games. So
awesome!
I'm really excited to get to talk about Solforge kind of crossing over that threshold once we really get to dive more into the digital client.
Yeah, the digital client's going to be a fantastic ad for this game for sure. So, well, I want to thank you for being a champ and coming on stream and playing with us tonight. We absolutely love that, and obviously super excited for you guys to continue to do your channel stuff. I have put the link to your channel in the description of this live stream. So, again, for everybody that's in our chat tonight, go give them a follow and a sub. I mean, they deserve that for sure. They're obviously putting out content for Solforge. They're participating in one of the coolest tournaments in Solforge history so far. So a big shout out to Casey Kidd and the Forgeborn Finishing School, and I don't know if I should give Greg shouts out or not, but I'm going to. Greg Core for putting on this event. It's been a lot of fun to participate with the other content creators and really get to tackle all these different things going on. So I just want to thank you for coming on again and playing a game with us. It was awesome. I wish you the best of luck in the rest of the Digitize Dustup, and I hope next time you don't have to play Digitize on your opponent's creature.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for having me, and good luck in next week's match to you as well.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Have a great night.
You too.
All right. That was AFG Dragon Rider from the Discord, part of the TCCG roundtable, who participated with us tonight. So that was a lot of fun. I was super happy I got to win the jackpot lottery on Digitize there.
So how many Digitize was it? I counted 6.
I think it's 6. Yeah, I think that's correct.
Because I was trying to get some gambling going in the chat to guess how many would get played.
I played 3, and she played 1, 2, 3. So 6.
All right. So no lotteries this week. I have to wait till next week to.
The wah for it, Ryan.
So I am currently in a TTS table with Eli.
Okay.
So
is there a password on this?
Yeah, it's shuffle bus, one word, lowercase.
Okay.
And I'm gonna jump over to Discord with him.
Okay.
And just mute myself in Zoom until I come back.
That sounds good. We're just cranking out the games tonight.
Yeah, Eli will crush me, and then we'll have a good chance.
Confidence, Neil. You gotta have some confidence, man. It's your chance. This is your chance. Redeem yourself.
All right. How do I mute Zoom. Maybe I'll just leave the meeting and join it again when
That's
I'm
fine.
done.
I'll leave the meeting up and you can just rejoin it. If it doesn't work, I'll send a new link and get you started.
Okay, I am out. I'll be back.
All right, sounds good. Nate in the house. What's going on, Nate? How are you, man? The weekend. I don't know what Eli brought. I honestly didn't spend much time looking at opponents' decks, to be totally fair. Probably should have. I mean, they're obviously published, so they're out there. I probably won't have time to pull it up here. I could try to pull it up off screen just so I have it for reference. Let's see here. Solforgefusion.com. Nick saying Eli probably figured out a way to play Infinite Digitizes. You're probably right, Fletch. I mean, that seems very Eli-ish to do that. No doubt. All right. So it looks like they're getting decks loaded up right now. Neil's got a purple-blue with a Circe. His Circe's got Death Touch, Life Drain, and Soul Siphon. So no Army Commander shenanigans here. Obviously, not in the right side unless you got Betrayer Krogiz. What deck am I playing? I'm playing a fun deck. I'll break it down after this match. I'm playing my Darkforge Drain Oros green half, but I paired it with a Betrayer Wolfstar Djinn. So yeah, I mean it is what it is here. Let's see, More Than Most is running. He's running a purple red deck. I got to learn all these like Onyxiums and all these things that you guys are talking about. I clearly don't know these yet. I'm not up on that. Eli's got some spicy stuff. He's got Blight Witch and Stitcher, and then he's got on the red side he's got Betrayer Summoning Stitcher. His spell suite consists of Dreadbolt, Ghastly Renewal, Infernal Ritual, and Lightning Spark, so he's got some removal there. He's got a Piercing Glider, which I think is probably pretty good. Got some big boys in Fleet Giant and Combat Colossus. Thunder Stomper is around here as well. That's kind of the quick hits on it. Obviously, I'm not sure which Forgeborn Eli is using here. Don't know if it's Nyx or Korok. Guess we'll find out pretty quick here. Is he playing a double rallying version of the Stitcher? No. Neil might have a double rallying. Let me see what Neil is bringing to the table here. Neil has got double rallying Alamancer Virtuoso with Drix and a Apocamancer. So this is his blue half that he's had for quite a while. And then he's playing that alongside a Darkheart Sorcerer with a Camouflage Stitcher. His spell suite consists of Ghastly Renewal, Necrovive, Soul Reap, Spirit Leash, Aegeus Wings, and Energy Prison. Both of these are all set 1 only decks. There's no set 2 stuff in this here. It looks like Eli is up on the Nyx, and Eli gets us started right away with a Hibernating Master. Obviously, pretty cool if he's got that mage to back it up here. Looks like the Nyx has got Soul Rip with Raising Dead and Army of the Damned, so lots of board stuff there. So the Necrovive immediately hitting that Master. Neil not wanting that Master to be able to go off here. I can post the deck links live in chat. Thank you. Great idea, Honk. Maybe I should have you as a producer. Follow that up with a Cutthroat Harvester here from Eli, which is going into a Dr. Frankenbaum on the other side. Both of these creatures obviously kind of working very similarly here, where when they die, they will create the zombie minions. Obviously, Neil's going to win this combat exchange, so the Frankenbaum's going to get to live, and the 3/3 zombie minion isn't going to handle that, but he does get the free mindless zombie off of the Frankenbaum here as well. So Neil going up on board just slightly with Frankenbaum and Mindless Zombie as he gets the Forge here for cycle 1, turn 2. We'll see what Neil's got coming out of the gate here. Ghastly Renewal, very good here with the Scientist in play. So he's just going to flood the board with these zombies. Got Mindless Zombies for days. Ghastly looks really good alongside Dr. Frankenbaum when you get a stick of Frankenbaum like that. So here is the Hematophagic Stitcher from Eli. Should go in the back row. So that gets the Cutthroat Harvester back. And that will at least stem the tide a little bit here, because he's going to sacrifice out that Stitcher to kill the Frankenbaum and make a mindless zombie of his own off of the Cutthroat. So, Harvester. So Neil is going to play a Rallying Alamancer here. Rallying gives all of these zombies buffs because he replaced the zombie with the Alamancer. So this 4/5 Alamancer is going to do a little damage here to that Harvester, but yeah, the Harvester, no damage coming through yet from, but here's the other Stitcher, the Summoning Stitcher now. Playing a Spell Sprite, because Stitchers can make Spell Sprites too, why not? And getting that other Stitcher back here. Just continuing the cycle here. Gaining the 3 life off of this one instead. Gonna replace that last one with the new Stitcher, so we're just looping Stitchers here. Yep, and I think this is the infinite loop, right? So we'll watch and see how long this goes off. What is the win con, though? Like, is it just gain infinite life? Yeah, that Neil is allowing him to exit. Yep, infinite life. And, yeah, 48,765 is where we've decided to end the loop. So, all right. Well, I mean, I guess I got to commentate 2 turns of a game. That's cool. Congratulations, I guess, to Eli for putting together the loop and letting it go off, getting it to go off. Obviously, Neil had pretty much no way to answer that. I'm not sure many decks do. Be very curious to see how you break that. Yep. That's exactly what I was thinking there. So they're just talking about the game now, obviously. Kind of wild, to be honest. I mean, infinite combos are a part of games, no doubt about it. The question you have to ask is how consistent is this? And we'll see. Eli, obviously, this is just round 1 of the league, so you know, this is a smaller tournament in general at whatever it is. I guess Eli actually has more than what I said. He has 48 million. Is that right? No, 4,807. No. 48,765,409 is the life he has chosen here. It just doesn't show on the table chat. It shows up on the upper left side there. Yeah, I mean, combos are a thing, right? I mean, they can be. The only thing that makes combos really repressive is if they're super consistent. Stitcher is pretty busted, for sure. One of the best cards in the game, if not the best card in the game. So. So they're still working through all this. I mean, that's a pretty wild. The summoning stitcher is even like better because it feeds itself, right? Like that's just an incredible betrayer stitcher right there. What's the let's see what the likelihood of that card is. Like how many people have it. Include betrayer. There are 3 in set 1. There are 3 in registered out of set 2. So 6 of those in the wild. That's actually more than I thought there would be. The issue is that like what do you do? Because as long as the other stitchers in the discard, I think I show 3 registered, 3 from each set. I don't know. Now maybe those 3 are all the same, meaning that like doesn't matter which set you're looking at. There's only 3 registered across all the sets. But let me pull that up so we can show you. Yeah, there's there we go. There are 3. Yeah, there are 3 there. So yeah, it's possible. I mean, I don't know. I mean, obviously, as long as people are still opening product from set 1, there's a chance that, or set 2, I guess in this case. So it's possible that maybe somebody in Europe opened one out of set 2 just because they just got set 2 product. It really is this betrayer stitcher, right? That's the biggest issue here. I mean, how many betrayer stitchers are there in general though? Like, can you do this combo with any betrayer stitcher? Okay. So that ends that. We'll get Neil back on here in just a second, and we'll see what he has to say. That and Mystical Stitcher. So those are the only 2 stitchers that can complete that.
Hello.
Hey, welcome back.
Sorry, I shouldn't have like sat there and just like talked to him about it after, but you know I love that kind of stuff.
Oh, you're fine. There are 0 mystical stitchers found, chat. So of course, Eli, thanks for coming on and showing us broken things.
So we talked about that's literally the fastest the combo can go off because it does require playing 3 cards. So it's kind of neat that his like
did it
perfect draw is on stream live.
Yeah.
But
he did it. He got
it was sweet.
Yeah.
We were just talking about
I didn't know the deck, so
I
didn't know what he was even trying to do. Like I was trying to like live on stream here, push together like here's the deck list and
right. So he had the one stitcher was when it comes into play, sack a guy, gain 3. And he had the when your scientist dies, make a 3/3, and then summoning Stitcher. So the summoning Stitcher plus an additional Stitcher like loops itself.
Okay.
And so it like the loop is Hematophagic.
Yep.
The Hematophagic ability is sack a creature, gain 3. So you sack the other Stitcher,
Right.
gain 3. Then the Stitcher ability resolves, putting the Stitcher back into play, covering up because when that first Stitcher dies, he made a 3/3 off the whatever that guy's called. When
Right.
your scientist die, make a 3/3.
Right.
So essentially, like every Stitcher makes a 3/3, and one of the Stitchers makes a spell sprite.
Sure.
And so every time you make a spell sprite, that's one additional creature because you're like going back and forth. And every time you do that, you have one additional creature to sack the Hematophagic, which gains 3 life. So he just goes to infinite life. It was neat. I like looked at his list. I knew he was going to do something stupid because I saw the summoning Stitcher.
Right.
But I guess it didn't dawn on me like how I was gonna die until after he showed me. When he like first set the stuff on the table, I was like, you're gonna be able to like eat my whole team with the cutthroat guy.
Right.
Because he could have done that too if he wanted to sack Harvester in there a couple times to the Hematophagic.
Right.
I think. But I mean, obviously just going to infinity is good enough to win.
Right.
So that was neat. He is going to have a YouTube video about that deck coming out next week. So anybody that is interested in that stuff, check out the More Than Most YouTube channel.
Right. Yeah, I mean, obviously I had no idea what he was doing when we got started. So once it went off, I was like, oh, I see what's happening now. But yeah, I mean, so I guess we got all the games done in under an hour. That's that's amazing. I thought we might be up against time limits today, but we are not. So we can kind of dive into spoilers and news and things like that if we want. I don't know if there's much on the news front right now. Obviously, we got
the only news is spoilers.
Yeah,
I think.
I mean, we've got the tournament coming up, the Ultimate Championship coming up in Madison, and
that's true. Month. That's true.
I don't know who's all on board for that yet. It should be a silver level event. Yeah. There's some EU events being featured right now, which is awesome. Over in Europe.
Right.
Obviously, we love that.
Yeah, it's good that they're getting up and running. They have set 2 yet? I don't even know.
They just got it. Yeah, literally just got it.
Well, that'll be exciting to see some of the results from over there with set 2 actually available.
Current location. Any location. Silver. Search. So GameWorldCon is not up yet. We just got George's events here. He's running on Sunday nights. He's running silver events.
When are there's 2 cons up in like Jurch and Ryan's neighborhood. It's a Con of the North and
there's digital events upcoming with the last winter sneak peeks.
What? Oh, they did say something about that on stream today, but I wasn't paying a lot of attention. I was making graphics.
So Fletch, can you clue us in, or is there a timestamp that we can go back and watch on the VOD from your Twitch stream that we could share with chat? I apologize. I just didn't. I'm solo dadding this week, so at the end of the day, I did not have time to watch the live stream today.
Ryan, also, when is Con of the North and GameWorldCon or whatever the other one is?
It's on the website. It's on the website.
Are you a sleepy boy?
I am, man. Tired today. It's on the website. Last winter, early play and more. Here we go. Last winter, early play and more. Okay. With the upcoming release of Solforge Fusion Digital and Last Winter, we're excited to unveil exclusive events that offer you an opportunity to experience the Last Winter before its Kickstarter launch. Ta-da! Last Winter Group Sealed. Leading up to Kickstarter campaign, we'll be hosting several group sealed events on Tabletop Simulator. In these events, players will craft their fuse deck from a shared pool of Last Winter faction decks. These unique decks are exclusive to these events and will never see a print version. Members of the Stoneblade team will be lurking in these events as well, so you may get a chance to compete against a member of the team. This event will be open to everyone who signed up to get information on the upcoming Kickstarter campaign. Not only will you have the opportunity to experience the last winner ahead of its release, you'll also earn exclusive promos and prizes that will be added to your pledge level. Last winner, all set sealed. Once the Kickstarter campaign launches, a second event will run alongside the campaign. For this event, you'll be provided with 12 faction decks to use as your sealed pool in the event we are calling Triple X. That's ominous. This event will adopt a best of 3 format, okay, incorporating the use of a sideboard.
Do you think it's starring Vin Diesel or Ice Cube?
Why not both?
I don't know.
I don't either. The twist.
I hope people like the movie Triple X because I do. That's just.
What was the one where he was like he could see in the dark? That wasn't Triple X, but that's Vin Diesel.
No,
yes,
that's Riddick.
Yeah, Riddick.
It's Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
There are 3 movies called Triple X. The first one stars Vin Diesel. The second one stars Ice Cube, and then the third one is Triple X 3: Return of Xander something, and he's it's Vin Diesel again.
So this event will adopt a best of 3. Back on track here. I'm not going to acknowledge your Triple X stuff anymore, man.
This is a wacky night, man.
This event will adopt a best of 3 format incorporating the use of a sideboard. The twist, in each round, you're required to utilize faction decks from all 4 factions and from each of the 3 distinct sets. Alpha, Battle for White Fang Pass, and The Last Winner. In the previous event, decks provided are exclusive to this event and won't be available in print. Moreover, participants stand a chance to win prizes that can be added to their pledge level. Okay. New Forge Challenge. Once the campaign wraps up,
Go ahead. Sorry, I was not a member of the Kickstarter the first time around, but I know that there was like a Kickstarter tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Is this kind of like what that is?
I think this is all different, dude. So,
I mean, it sounds interesting.
So
I don't know how I feel about like this wacky format, but it's cool that they're doing like preview sealeds.
Right. You have to follow the Kickstarter campaign, so you got to sign into your Kickstarter account and follow the campaign, which I think I've done, but I'll double check that tonight. From all 4 factions. Okay, so the next one is New Forged Challenge. It says once the campaign wraps up, we'll be hosting an extended New Forged Challenge. This is your chance to go head-to-head with the formidable Last Winter decks, giving you a sneak peek of what's in store when you finally get your hands on the set. The dates for these events will be revealed soon, but that's not all. We have more events on the horizon, including exciting new ways to engage in the Solforge Fusion lore. Stay tuned to our website and social media channels for all the latest updates. For real-time discussion and news, don't forget to join our Discord server weekly and weekly Twitch stream to stay fully informed about everything Solforge Fusion. This is cool. I need to like read the website more. Like I called out months ago that Solforge needed to do a better job of using their website to tell us news, and then what have I done? Not read the website.
I've read all the articles they put out since they started doing
not
spoilers,
all of them,
but I guess I missed.
Came out,
well, this one didn't have spoilers. That was the thing. So I obviously missed it. I've been paying attention to the spoilers because the very first week I was like, I don't know where they put this, and Nick was like, it's on the website. We're doing spoilers, and I thought that was great. So I started reading all those articles, but this one I missed. So yeah, this sounds cool. Like, just it's kind of like a pre-release. Obviously, lots of games have like pre-release sealed tournaments for upcoming sets, and this is a little bit unique because it's like way ahead of time.
Right.
Yeah, I'm only here for spoilers, Fletch. But this game obviously has the advantage of having the availability of a digital product prior to printing, so they can do this at what I assume is, low cost, medium effort ahead of the Kickstarter, just to generate excitement and also give us, tournaments to play in with the new cards.
Mm-hmm. I'm very excited about
this. I was totally wrong. This is great news. This is important news.
I really think that I hope that I know, because I don't know when the Kickstarter campaign is launching for sure, right? And unfortunately, like October is just an absolutely insane month for me. So I hope that that it's on times where I can actually participate. And I won't know until those dates are announced, obviously. But when they are announced, you can bet I'm going to be trying to figure out how to participate because these are
Yeah.
awesome, and I want to be able to. I'm assuming
I mean,
Fletch will be able to stream this, or is this stuff going to be like strictly like
that's a good question.
under like embargo where we can't share the content right away? Like we could record it and wait till embargo lifts, but I'm just curious. I don't know.
Apparently, I can just like tell Lucas stuff and he'll just do it. Like last week when we got free spoilers. So
maybe we scared Lucas
I'll
at
just
Gen
tell
Con.
him I'll just tell him that
don't mess with those shuffle bus
gonna
guys. Just
stream
give them
it.
everything they want, okay?
Yeah.
I think they're attached to the mafia in some ways. Just let them have what they need.
Yeah.
I know.
So I mean, yeah, this was really exciting. And I assume that everybody like in our chat that watches us live like probably already knew about this and probably will be members of the Kickstarter.
Yeah,
So
I assume so.
it's not like huge news, but hopefully there are people out here that are going to watch our video in the VOD and
well, I mean,
learn
honestly, we
about
get
this.
a lot of views on our VODs post,
Yeah,
post closure.
because
we
I know like Jurch and Cody record on Wednesday nights,
right.
so they like never watch live.
That's just their excuse. I'm not buying it.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're so much better than us that like we're
they're
just beneath
professional.
them.
What do you want? I mean,
I'll tell you what their pod doesn't have. References to the Vin Diesel action classic Triple X.
You are 100% correct. I should have clearly seen this and leaned harder into this whole conversation.
Yeah,
but I didn't, and that's my bad. Yeah, so I'll have to I'll have to look and see and make sure I'm following the Kickstarter. My Kickstarter account is old and doesn't get used very often anymore, so I apologize. Even poor Ankh, like he had to message me like, "Is this you on Kickstarter?" Because your credit card didn't go through, and I'm like, "Oh, it's probably like 5-year-old credit card sitting in there." So
I got the like Ankh Gaming post
backer kit,
Kickstarter
the backer kit survey.
like
Yeah,
click here to respond. I'm gonna do it right now on stream.
this is. You see what I have to deal with? Like, look at this professionalism.
If I don't, I'll forget about it again.
Do you even still use that? I do still use that email address, Ankh, actually, but it's so I have like 3 email addresses that I use. One is the email address that I give to everybody that I don't actually want to talk to, or like if it's a store sign up, that kind of thing. The other is my actual business email that I use strictly for business. And then the other one is my personal email that my friends and family have to communicate with me. And that's the email that's attached to my Kickstarter. Because when I was Kickstarting, I wanted that. So I probably have a very strange email policy, but like, it's just the way I do it. So take it for what it is. But I got you paid today, buddy. I got you all squared away today. I finalized my backer kit today. So for the Nexus tracker,
Hey, I just did too.
I'm so proud of you, Neil. How much is that worth? How much money did I give you for the Nexus kit?
He's just gonna dox you on YouTube.
How much money is that? Did I give you on that Kickstarter? Is it worth that? I mean, maybe.
He's gonna cancel his order. Oh man,
so
that's good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, we should talk about some spoilers.
Well, not technically zero, right? I mean, I paid you today. You got paid. You'll get paid. I don't know whenever that money comes through. I don't know how. I think Kickstarter holds all that, right? Until you release it all or whatever. I don't remember. It's been too long since I ran a campaign. So we're going to spoilers?
Yeah, we should do spoilers because we end up talking about them a long time, and I don't want it to go like over.
Are you wanting to start with Aether Tap, or what do you want to start with?
I don't remember which one that is. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
This was from the article this week or last week. I don't remember.
Give me a second.
We can talk about more nonsense after if there's time, but I know
Yeah.
that we always take like forever on spoilers. So
All right, so here's Aether Tap. This is a spell. It's a 10-piece spell. Give a creature +5 attack. If you have an Exalt in this lane, you may play a Spell Sprite minion. Level 2 is a +7 with a Spell Swarm minion, and level 3 is a +10 and 2 Spell Swarm minions. This is a pretty good spell.
I agree with the caveat that you have to have an Exalt and a guy in the lane with the Exalt. Like
Sure.
this is another one of the like on like the creature is exalted theme.
Right.
If you get the creature out of it, it is very good. If you don't get the
straight
creature out of it,
combat
it's just
buff,
kind
it's
of
not
meh.
very good. Yeah, I mean, if you're just talking about the creature buff, it's probably meh. But you're right. Like obviously having the Exalt in play, but it seems like we're getting a lot of Exalts, like
Right.
enormous. Sum
I
of
don't
Exalts
think I don't think that exalted is like a heavy tax.
now. Right.
Right. It's a tiny amount of work, but essentially every deck is going to have exalts in it that you want to play, it seems like,
Mhm.
or that you're like okay playing. So
And
getting
the level 2 version of it's pretty decent, right? With the spell
the
swarm.
level 2 I think is the best version of it because
Because you're getting 19 stats out of that. Because you get the 3/9, right? You get a 3/9.
16 stats.
No, it's more than that, right? What's a spell swarm? Isn't it 3/9?
It's a is it 9? I thought it was a 3/6. Maybe it's a 3/9.
I think it's a 3/9. Wow.
Well,
We are so good at this game, we don't even know the minions.
I don't play many red decks.
I don't either. Like I was
But
looking through our red deck today, and I'm like, I don't even know what this card upgrades to. Like Blizzard Shaman. I've never played a Blizzard Shaman.
Well, that's not our red deck. That's the one that
I know,
was
but I'm just saying, like,
given to us.
Blizzard
that
Shaman is
we
generally
didn't even
considered
bid
a
on.
pretty
We
good
stole
card,
from,
and I like don't even know how it upgrades. I was like, I gotta
but-
look at it.
Yeah, I think this card is pretty good. Like, regardless of the stats of Spell Sprite, Spell Swarm is
It's a 3/9.
like a
Newt-
large dude.
Newt
and-
coming in and saving my ass here. So thank you, Newt. I
Yeah.
appreciate you. For that, Newt, you earn at least one letter back in your name. You are now
You're gonna
S.
start just every time he corrects you, you learn his name a little more. It's not gonna take long to get figured out. But yeah, like especially compared to some of the cards that we've seen spoiled, I think this is very powerful. I mean, compared to the game, it's not super powerful, but it is good.
Newt adding a little bit of spice here. He goes, it's kind of like a 4/8 that gets +4 per spell, but it only gets +3.
Yeah.
But I mean, honestly, like obviously, what remains to be seen is how good exalted as an ability is, and if it is really good, then
right. This is going to be a card that like if your red deck is good, you're probably happy to have in it.
Mhm.
Like there are some red decks that are not spell heavy, but this is both a spell to trigger things that want spells, and it also makes the spell minions that
Right.
want you to play spells. So, and the Exalt is also a spell. So, like, if you have a good red half spells matter, I think this card's very good.
Yeah.
And in a normal deck, it's just pretty good.
Right.
You're never unhappy with it.
Yeah, I mean, I like making minions, as you saw in the Digitize Dustup today. But, yeah, I mean, obviously the level 3 version is, like, kind of out of this world, assuming that you have a spell to follow up the play.
So,
right?
At level 3, I think level 2 is actually the best level of this, but
I agree.
Because at level 3 things go so big that like it is still good at level 3. I'm not trying to say it's not, but things go so big at level 3 that everything is pretty good.
And you just also risk that your board.
So there are gonna be times when it does win the game, but
there's also just a lot of times in cycle 3 where boards are so full that putting 2 spell swarms in play can be difficult, right? Like they're just
it could potentially have because this at level 3 requires essentially 3 slots because one has to be taken up by the creature you're playing it on.
Right.
That's
where I was going with that. Is ultimately like now if you got like a Pokemancer or something, I'm assuming that this would play in a way where you could play a spell swarm, replace the spell swarm.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
It just like any of the make multiple guys things. Right. I don't think this card is particularly complicated or everything. I think it's just pretty good.
I think what's interesting to me about this particular spell, and we can move on pretty quickly here, is it represents, in my mind, a pretty significant uptick in like spell ceiling. Like it feels like this is stronger than a lot of other spells we've seen in the game up to this point.
Um, I don't know. It spells are kind of different to evaluate than other cards. 'Cause you have to remember that this the exalted thing, like I said, is not super hard to do, but it is like a little bit of work. Also, just like having a creature that this is good on is also a little bit of work.
Sure.
Because since again, this like we talked about last week on the other spoiler, things that only pump power are much worse than things that
Well,
pump life or both.
do we know if any set 2 exalts are coming back in set 3? Has anybody ever asked that question? Because
I
like
mean, they probably are,
so
right?
like Thunder Crash Field and Thunder Soar is a pretty cool like interaction, right, in general. And this gives you if Aether Tap can roll into that kind of deck, this gives your Thunder Soar a lot of legs.
Right.
And significant
Thundersoar
power.
is kind of a specific case where power increase is a little different. But in general, I mean, I still think the card is good. There are going to be game states where it's not good.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think obviously there's going to be some games where you like play it as your first card on level 3 and then play a spell as your second card and go like get a lot of stats out of it. But
Right.
that's probably like the games where that would change the outcome of the game are probably few and far between. Like
Imagine
if that's
this
the
with
thing you're
burnout.
doing, like
like if your second spell is
eh,
burnout. Like
that's okay. It just like how many of the games does this change the outcome of?
oh,
Like where
probably
you go
mostly
from losing
0.
to winning.
Yeah, probably
Right. You
mostly
were probably
0.
already ahead if this was good at level 3,
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean it's not good
Right.
at 1 and 2 and
Yeah. No, I agree.
so but yeah, I think it's one of those cards we've talked about a lot of the spoilers that's like this card is good, you're never unhappy with it. It's not really a build around me, but it does slot into all the like spells matter, like the cards that are built around me in that want spells.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
All right, so should we move on?
yeah, let's look at
Which one do you want to look at?
the other Stoneblade one, the Gox
Gox.
Metamind Paragon.
Okay, Gox. Sounds like I got to clear my throat. Oh. All right, Gox, Metamind Paragon, deploy, play Central Conductor. Central Conductor. When this has 2 exalts adjacent to it, transform this and put an energy counter on it. Activate has an activate ability on Gox. Says give each of your creatures in a lane with one of your exalts +2 attack. This is a 2/5 base cycle 1 creature. And then the Mass Link says activate, remove an energy counter from this to play an exalt for free. Okay. Is this a legendary? Is that why it's got the red eyelashes?
No, it's a Soulbind.
Oh, it's a Soulbind. Yeah, that makes sense. Duh. Jeez.
That's why it has the red eyelashes.
Got it. Okay, so the Cycle 2 version of it is give each of your creature in lane with an Exalt +3. The Cycle 3 version of it's +5 for the Exalts. And then stat-wise, it's a 2/9 at level 2 and a 2/13 at level 3. I don't know how I feel about this card.
I'm not a big fan of this card.
Yeah,
like
I
Mass
think,
Link is like a very cool card.
yes.
There's like a lot of work to get there.
Yes. That's what I was getting
so
at.
it's a 4/5 at level 1. It's a 5/9 most of the time at level 2.
Well, at best, you get a single Exalt out of it. Right? Because you... So you go, okay, I'm going to play my Central
You're talking
Conductor.
about the Mass Link?
Yeah.
You get at face value, yes, that is correct.
Because it says play Central Conductor. When this has 2 exalts adjacent to it, transform this and put an energy counter on it. So once you put an energy counter on it, it's also transformed. So it's going to mass link as soon as you get 1. You can't build up more than 1 counter on it, assuming without giving it some outside support, right?
You would have to get it flipped and then use some other card to put energy on it.
Because
when it flips, it actually removes all counters from it now. So that's why it's in that you transform it,
and
then you put an energy counter on it.
Right.
So it's a lot of work to get it to play another card for free.
Well,
so
and having 2 exalts adjacent to it, I mean, that's a big ask.
It's a ton of work.
Because this is only playable in lanes 2, 3, and 4. Can't play in lane 1 or 5. Because
you're talking about the central conductor?
Yes.
Yeah. Right.
Ooh.
I mean, you don't have to put the central conductor in the same lane as Gox, right? So
yeah.
Gox is not shoehorned that way. But like, so imagine you play this guy, like if you draw this in your opener, I assume that if you're playing this card, you're playing a Gox deck, so you like have to play it.
Right.
And then you're just like playing it and putting the central conductor behind it, or playing a first card and then putting the central conductor behind the first card, and then you have a 2/5 and a like big fronted creature.
Right.
Unless you have an additional soulbind from your other half that also like doubles up. But I don't know, this feels like a ton of work for not a big benefit. I'm sure that there's going to be something cool to do. Like,
obviously, if there's exalts, again, there's a lot of hypotheticals here on bringing up Runescarred Pit, but if there's a lot of persistent exalts, which generally speaking there isn't, right? We see a lot of them that are like, when you play the next version, destroy the old version. But if there ends up being enough mass of persistent exalts, i.e. like the Runescarred Pit from set 2, then this might work, but it still feels like you're pretty shoehorned into...
But it's just like the benefit isn't even that high. Like, I agree that Runescarred Pit is a good example of one that would be cool.
Right.
Because those stay around, and also it's like one that you're very happy to play for free.
Well, especially if like you Runescar, like you go, okay, I've got 2 Runescar Pits in play. You play your 3rd Runescar. This is like living the dream here, and then you play your Central Conductor as an underdrop, right? And now you've got all these 3/3s with a Gox in play. You play the Mass Link, and I don't know what you do from there, but but ultimately you get the Gox trigger to make those zombies.
This is going to be the kind of card that needs more spoilers to get real excited about, I think. Because like you could like theoretically envision a situation where you could like mass link multiple times in a turn.
Right.
Like imagine if there was like a a 4/5 that when it came into play, it's like untap an exalt and put an energy on it.
Right.
Like then all of a sudden your mass link is more exciting. But again, this is just like this is the perfect example of like a spoiler card that just shows off thematic elements of the set.
Right.
Because it is a very like cool card from a design point of view. I just don't know how much play it actually has in real games.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we won't know until we really dive into testing the set. So I don't want to like poo-poo this card out of the gate, but it doesn't. I'm not going, man, I can't wait to pull a Gox right now. Right now, as I sit here. I mean, I would feel like it's sort of in a similar vein to pulling like a Regia Iron Lady. You know, that's just kind of the way I see it.
Yeah, Fletch says definitely in playtesting, Gox is the star of the package of the Exalt deck. Okay, well,
okay.
I'll be interested to see the other pieces of that package.
Yep.
Okay. Because it's not a bad card.
No.
If you actually like get to the point where you have 4 Exalts in play, you can tap it to gain a large amount of stats, but it's still need to see a little more from the set to get excited about that, I think.
Yep. This would have been like, obviously, like the timing on reveals like these kind of cards are very tricky because on one hand you want to show this like super cool, like this is the direction we're headed component, which I think Gox is sort of laying that foundational groundwork for. But on the other hand, if you had shown all the other pieces and we kind of went, oh, I don't get it, and then you drop Gox at the end, you'd be like, oh, damn, this thing's sweet, right? So I can see both ways of revealing, and both have their merits because at some point we'll go, oh man, like okay, and now I see how Gox is good. So I don't want to be like I'm just giving my initial reaction to this card. In fact, this is literally my initial reaction. I've seen none of these cards because it's been crazy. So yeah. I'm jury's out. And we're gonna call it jury's out. I appreciate Fletch chiming in though, because I do think that Gox looks like he could be powerful, but also looks like the conductor mass link is not a payoff that's necessarily worth it. But I could be wrong. Could be wrong.
We'll see what the decks look like. I mean, there's obviously potential that it could do some cool stuff because free cards are good, and
all right, so next we got
free.
Stegos Dinosaur Tamer. This is a warrior.
This was a card they revealed on stream tonight,
Okay.
which obviously was Stegos's backer card from the Kickstarter.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know how many iterations it went through when they were, setting it up with Stegos, but this is a sweet one.
So deploy. You may play Pterodon Pup, which is a dinosaur creature. It's a 1/3. It's a level 2, which is nice. That means that it can't be messed with Botanimate and Dreadbolt and some of that stuff right out of the gate. It gives it a little bit of staying power, even though the stats are pretty soft on it. And it says activate, give your dinosaurs +2 attack. The Stegos itself is a 2/4, which is a fine statted creature.
It's so it's a 2/4 that makes a 3/3, right?
Right.
Just by itself. So you're getting, 5/7 stats, which is definitely fine for level 1. It doesn't like trade very good in cycle 1. But obviously if your deck roll is good, if you have a bunch of dinos, like the card's very good.
This card was for winning Gen Con, is what Fletch was saying. The cycle 2 is a 3/5. It's deploy. You may play a new Pterodon Pup, so you still make the 1/3, which is a cycle 2 card, but then it's give your dinosaurs +2/+2. So it turns into a 3/5, which is pretty small for a.
I mean, you're getting a 6/10 stats for 2, but again, the more dinosaurs you have, the better this is.
Right, absolutely. I mean, this is definitely a card that you want. You're going to need enough synergy to make it really sing, right?
Right.
And then Stegos Dinosaur Tamer is a 5/7. You may play a new Pterodon Ridgeback, which the Pterodon Ridgeback is a 4/4 with Breakthrough. And this is activate, give your dinosaurs +4/+4. So this allows the Ridgeback to essentially turn into an Oak Father. And obviously...
you get like 17, 19 stats out of the level 3.
Yeah, which is
and
good.
Half it as Breakthrough.
Yep, it's not terrible. The cycle 3
I think
payoff is pretty good.
Yeah, I think this card's very good. Obviously, like, dinosaur strategies have been on the cusp of being competitively viable for a long time.
Right.
And this is just a very good card if you have a good dino deck.
Yeah, I think obviously, you have to have probably a critical mass of dinos. You're probably going to need 6-7 dinos between your half, maybe even upwards of 9.
Right. We'll see if Rex or Patron are in the set.
My favorite's still Basher. If Basher gets reprinted, it'll be a nice fit with this too. So, because Basher generally doesn't have the greatest health pool, but obviously things that give Basher health are pretty nice. So,
the card is just very good. I think this might be the best card that well, it might not be better than the purple dude that, like, if you have a bunch of spirits, is just kill all your opponent's guys.
Right.
But this is close to the best spoiler we've gotten for the set. And that's usually the case with player-made cards. They tend to be very good just because players know what is good.
Yep.
They're not shackled by the morals when they're designing a set.
Newt says,
Um,
S says, I can safely say there are some spicy dinosaurs. As somebody who often plays dinosaurs, yeah, I mean, I
I
agree.
Newt is definitely the first person I think of when I think of dinosaurs.
Yeah, I don't have a good dino deck. I mean, I like theme decks, like in general. I mean, you're talking
Well,
about
yeah, it's when you talk about theme decks in this game, it requires a big number on the RNG table to
right.
get the theme powerful.
Like I remember at one point when Return to Ravnica and Magic was starting to phase out of standard. Like we had just a couple months left in standard, and I was tired of playing like my competitive standard Ravnica set, and we had just gotten uh, Theros, maybe, and there was a bunch of Minotaurs in Theros. And one of the best Minotaurs ever reprinted in Magic was the Boros Reckoner. Pretty good card just in general. But I remember building like a Minotaur themed
That
Boros Reckoner
that
deck.
might have been the only Minotaur that was actually playable in standard, but it is very good, or at least it
I
was at the
top eighted
time.
a
It's not
Friday
very
Night
good.
Magic with that stupid Minotaur deck, dude, because nobody knew what to
Yeah,
expect.
but
So
beating up on donks is this just,
there's not all donks in Friday Night Magic.
apparently there's almost nobody left at Friday Night Magic
No,
anymore. That
it's
makes
really
me
dead.
sad.
All right.
But
So who do we want to cover next? What do we want to cover next?
it doesn't matter now. Let's just go from the top, talk about Eli's.
All right, let's go more than most spoiler here. The Corpse Host. This Eli wrote the haiku for this, I believe. If I'm not
Oh, I don't know
mistaken.
about that.
It's
There's
a
a
soul bind.
haiku.
Yeah, the haiku's on the card. Lo, this wretched corpse. Pressure builds as life force fades. Gird for its release. Most decks are a Stampeding Mongosaur and a Stompede. Yeah, that makes sense, Billy. Corpse Host here is a spirit zombie because zombies
Right.
can
We
have
like
spirits.
the random spirits because obviously there's a lot of spirits energy in the set.
This Corpse Host is a 3/3, and it says deploy, play Necrolab. Necrolab is a exalt spell. It says when the creature in this lane is dealt damage, put an energy counter on this. Do not remove energy counters from this when it transforms. The transform version of this is Necro Tower, which says activate, remove any number of energy counters from this to destroy a creature with a level lower than the number of energy counters removed. Corpse Host is a 5/5. It is deployed, deal 3 damage to another one of your creatures to give this +3 health, so you could turn it into a 5/8 in theory. And
It
then,
also triggers the Necrolab, obviously.
correct, yes. And then Corpse Host at cycle 3 is deal 5 damage to another one of your creatures to give this +5 health and transform Necrolab. So the Corpse Host itself is able to turn the Necro Tower on. But the thing you got to be cautious about there is if you only have one energy counter on it and you don't have ways to pump energy into it, much like Grox we talked about earlier, then the Necro Tower is only hitting level 1.
So
Not even level 1. It would hit nothing because
you're
it's a
like
level lower.
you're 100% to have 2 counters on it, right?
Yep.
Essentially because you'll have played the level 2 and level 3 corpse hosts.
Yep.
And it would be a rare game that you weren't it's not 100% because if you have no creatures in play and you have to play corpse hosts, then it's not going to put a counter on Necrolab because it can't deal damage. But I assume that you're trying to corpse host whatever creature's in the Necrolab every time you play it, if this is your plan. And it's like a fine plan. The card is okay. There's a lot of times when you have just like a dude that you don't care about his toughness because it's going to trade anyway. So you just like make a 5/8 at very little cost,
Right.
or an 8/13 at very little cost. And then the Necrolab Necro Tower thing, like it sucks that this is very level gated. So if you like miss drawing Corpse Host in one of the cycles, you're not really gonna have a Necro Tower that matters.
Right.
But the front half of the creature is like fine enough, I guess, that maybe that
Well,
doesn't
the
matter.
cycle
I don't know.
1
Even a 5/8 at cycle 2 is like not that great.
Right. And the cycle 1, as an underdrop, the Corpse Host as an underdrop past, a cycle 1 play is not a very good underdrop.
The level 1 card is very bad.
Right, but that's the only way you're going to get
Like-
a Necrolab in play, right? You have to play
Right.
the level 1 version, so you can't skip the level 1 version. You could essentially sort of do your like army commander trick to play the level 3 version on cycle 3, even though you never played a version, but then you still got a Necro Tower with no counters on it. And
Yeah, I mean, putting energy on the Necrolab is probably not that hard because you just any combat that happens in that lane
right.
is going to put counters on it. But the corpse host being small makes this not very attractive to me because making the tower is a lot of work.
Right.
And if you miss, like I said, if you miss corpse host in one of the cycles, you're not going to get the tower at a time that it matters.
Yep.
I mean, there's definitely going to be games where like you do hit it all three and you get three counters on your Necro Tower and like you get to kill a level 3 creature and then a level 2 creature. Uh that's obviously very good.
Yeah. Sure.
Um but this is another case of like it is a lot of work to get there.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to how much energy pump up can you get, right? Beyond just energizing. We talked about that already on stream tonight, but, or at least it's commented on stream. I don't know if we talked about it per se, but, I, I, I don't know about this card, man. Like, I don't know. I'm gonna withdraw a comment.
Carl says Furious Shard back in Necrolab. That's cute. Yeah. I mean, honestly, Furious anything.
Yeah, for real.
We know that Furious is not in set 3, unfortunately,
Right, but you could pair
as
it
an
with Furious in
adjective.
set 2.
Right.
Okay, so not much else to say about this until it's another one of these cards that
This is a card that I think will be fun to play. It feels like too much work to be competitively good.
yeah.
But it also depends on the format, right? Because I don't think that a card like Corpse Host or a card like Gox could compete with, a good uh like a good Rumble deck even in the post transform errata world.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that the format isn't going to slow down and it could be okay as like a secondary plan in a deck that has something else cool going on.
Right. Right. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from this. I just don't. Cards that get my motor going are not cards like this where I really got to think about how do I work this thing to make it do something.
Yeah.
And the front end, the front load on this, the creature itself is just not worth it. In my opinion, like you said, a 5/8 or an 8/13, just
Right. It's just not a very big creature either. That's
no.
the kind of the downside.
Right. Exactly. So, I mean, obviously, Stoneblade has statted this in a way where they believe the Necro Tower is going to be more impactful. So, because that's obviously what the payoff is supposed to be, is the Necrolab into Necro Tower. And
Right.
They've obviously statted Corpse Host to reflect that. So maybe they know something we don't know yet, right now.
I mean,
But
the card is really I think the card is very cool.
oh
Like,
yeah,
just
no, I
from a
think the
design
card's sweet,
perspective.
and I also think it
Um,
looks really cool. Like,
Yeah.
the art on
It does
all
have
parts
it
of
does
this
have
card are
sick
cool.
art.
Yeah. So I just think we might not have enough information yet. So, but it is cool. It's different. So, and I like the design. I like this. I like where these designs are going, where these exalts have some gating on them potentially, where they're not just like immediately come into play and do crazy stuff that you can't interact with. There's a little bit of a inevitability to these energy counter style exalts, but there's also a little bit of time, right? So you kind of pay off both ways there. So it's pretty cool. All right, so the last one was, well, not the last one. This is we've got others, but this is Newt's, or S,
Yep.
as we like to call him. Deep Frost Hills. Deep Frost Hills is a exalt spell. At cycle 1, it says deploy, put 2 energy counters on this, activate, remove an energy counter from this to deal 3 damage to the opposing creature. This turn, it gets defender. Then, if there are no energy counters on this, destroy this. They're all exactly the same in terms of the number of energy counters they get when they come into play, and the activate is 5 and 7, respectfully, after that. I think this card's really good.
I mean, it's it's fine. It's about as good as like the mage one was from set 2.
I mean, this is like a leyline vermin, right?
No.
Why not?
In what way is this a leyline vermin?
Well, I'm sorry, a rooted batterhide. Like it's like a batterhide.
This is just 2/3 damage spells is what this is.
Right,
2/5 damage spells.
but giving the creature defender also gives you time.
Yeah, but that's gonna come up like 8% of the games.
I think it can matter more than that.
Like there's already a card that does this, and it makes a dragon, and it's not really seen anywhere.
Which
I think the card
that?
is good. Frostmane Breath
I don't know if I
is deal some damage, give it defender, and make an egg. Deal some damage, give it defender, make an egg. Deal some damage, give it defender, make a dragon.
It
Are like
says
the
it's
three
Flame
modes.
Sculptor Seal.
Yeah, that's the mage one I was talking about. This is just like a different version of Flame Sculptor Seal.
Okay.
That like when it Flame Sculptor Seal is an exalt when it comes into play deals 3, and then if you play a mage in that lane, you sack it and deal 3. So this is like a little bit better than that because it's more consistent. You can't do it in the same turn like you could with Mage Sculptor Seal, where you'd go like first card Mage Sculptor Seal, second card Mage, so you shoot it off right away. This one you have to wait to untap.
Mm-hmm.
But I still think it's good to get 2 sources of 3 damage and then 2 sources of 5 damage and 2 sources of 7 damage. Like it's not spectacular, but it is good. And like
I like this card. It doesn't require a ton of work.
yeah, right. This is the exact opposite of the cards we've just been looking at, where you literally don't have to do anything. You know what it does, and it's like almost always good.
Right.
Like
Yep.
95% of game states, this is a good card.
Yep. I agree. So
the defender thing isn't 0. It's just most of the time you're just going to shoot it at something that dies from it, or shoot it at something that's going to trade with one of your creatures because of it. Like, but it's just, I don't know. It's just a good card.
yeah, I think I actually think this is a really, really solid card. Yeah,
I don't even know that there's much analysis here. Like it literally is just 2 sources of 3 damage, and then
yeah, there's not much else we can say until, because this is a card that, in my mind, Defrost Hills is going to be a card that you're always going to be happy to see in your 10. I don't think you're going to ever be sad that it's in your 10. And I think that's just
it
may not be the 1, 2, 3 card you're looking for, the 4 card you're looking for on a good deck, but your 5 through 10 card, if one of them's a Defrost Hills, you're going to go, that's just going to be fine. That's going to be a fine card.
The card is super, super good.
Yep.
I like. It's not again a build around me. It's just like always.
It's just always relevant.
Right.
Carl Testa is adding great for stealth creatures. I agree. Stealth creatures.
Yeah, it has like the defender thing has a small amount of synergy with stealth creatures, and it is going to come up in games where you need to like push a guy to the back, but the
Onk adding good to protect your own defenders if you need to. I mean, there's play here. I like this card.
It's kind of interesting that like this has become kind of like a design, like a thematic design where the like I don't know, like frostbite cards deal damage and give defender instead of just like, there's a lot of cards that are just like burn spells and they just deal damage, but like specifically Frostmane Breath is like thematically it's like an ice breath that gives them defender as well as burning them.
Still can't give Krogius defender, but
well, you just can't shoot Krogius with it at all.
Yeah, I know. All right, let's move on. I mean, I think this is a good card.
Yeah.
I think this is the kind of thing, if you're playing competitive Solforge, it's the kind of thing you want in your deck. It's just a good all-purpose card that has a lot of functionality to play into a lot of different potential strategies. And yeah, I think those are the kinds of things you want. It's good when somebody has aggressive. If you want to throw their aggressive creature back, there's different reasons for it. But I think it's very solid in that way. All right, last one is the Forgeborn Finishing Schools, Mech Armory. Cycle
This is not
one.
the last one either, but
It's
it
not?
is Forge forms. No, there's one from Jurch and Cody
Oh,
too.
I did
We
miss
haven't
the
gotten
Church
to
and
yet.
Cody one. I'm sorry. Okay. So
Um,
the second to last one. Mech Armory
right.
is
So
a
this
spell
is
spell, put 2 energy counters, so it's similar in its style, but this version is remove an energy counter from this to give your creature +2 attack. If it's a 1 creature, it gets mobility 1 this turn. Then if there are no energy counters on it, destroy this. This doesn't feel as good as the last one.
well, it's obviously not as good as Frostmane Breath. Or Frost, whatever it is, Deep Frost Hills.
Deep Frost Hills, yeah.
It's obviously not as good as that because this requires you to have a creature in play, and also it requires that giving that creature a small amount of power and mobility matters, which is not very often. It looks like there's going to be a cycle of these, one for every color, because we previewed the Lycian Shard last
Right, the green,
week
the Utera one, yeah.
that gave attack and then level gated breakthrough, which is like, the green
Right.
ability, and mobility is like the blue ability. So we're probably going to see a cycle of these. I don't recall off the top of my head if there is a red or purple one that we've seen already.
Well, the red one we just
possibly,
saw.
well, I'm talking about like, is there one that gives just plus attack and then level gated
I see what you're
something?
saying. Yeah.
Like this one is closer to Lycian even than it is to the other ones that have energy counters on them.
Right. I follow on what you're saying now.
Yeah, and potentially that is the cycle. It's just exalts that get 2 energy counters. But this, I had a lot of trepidation about how good the one with breakthrough was last week, and this is way worse than that even.
Yeah. I would rather have the breakthrough version than the mobility version. I'm not saying mobility is not good. Mobility is a niche effect. It's a tech effect, and it can have impact on games. But I think we have proven in the scope of Solforge that mobility as a whole, while it needs to probably exist as a design, doesn't represent a real competitive overall value.
Mobility is a fine ability, right, to like have on a creature.
Right.
Like you'd rather have a creature with mobility than a creature without a mobility.
Right.
But jumping through some hoops to give something mobility, that's a little much.
Right.
Especially like when you think about how this card would actually play out, these that are like partially level gated like this, where in order to give it to the creatures you want to win the game, you have to have played it every round. What you really want your pump spell to do is like you want to like leave it at level 1, and then in cycle 3 sometime when you're trying to get some damage through, as your second card, you play it, give it +2 attack, and give it mobility and move it over 1 to where it cracks face, right? Like that's like where you want it, but that's never going to happen with this card because you have to have like played it every cycle, and
so it's basically a GS Wings
plus a
this is
but way worse than that even.
Well, it kind of, right? So
well,
I mean, a GS
Aegis
Wings
Wings is free at level 2 and 3.
True. That's true. The activate ability is free, but obviously the plane of the spell is not free, so you'd have to have some other sort of synergy to get the Mech Armory down for free to make it literal a GS Wings. Aegis Wings, a GS Wings, whatever you want to call it. Aegis Wings. But the spell effect is Aegis Wings. That's what it is.
Right, it's a very similar effect.
It's literally the same effect. Give a creature +8 this turn, it gets mobility 3, +4 mobility 2, +2 mobility 1.
Except that Aegis Wings is not level gated.
That's true.
So you can play your level, like you can do exactly what I just said you wanted to do with this, is just not level it up ever because you've had to play a grindy game where you need to put guys into play rather than like play a spell that doesn't do anything to the board.
Right.
And then at the end of the game, you have a guy that if you get it through will win the game. So you play your level 1 Aegis Wings, move it over 1 and crack their face.
Sure.
You can't do that with this. And that's the same thing about the breakthrough one. Like I think the breakthrough one is fine, but because you can't like just play the level 1 version on a giant guy in the last turn to give it breakthrough, which maybe is good design. I don't know. Like, is that really a feels bad? But
Nick says that the card used to work that way, Neil, until, as you're describing it, until development phase of the set. So it was originally not level gated, and level gated was added in development. So maybe there was something there.
Right. It makes these ones that are like pseudo level gated, they really take away a lot of the advantage that a card like this has. Because like I said before, I'm not real excited about cards that only pump attack because you never get card advantage out of it. Like sometimes you'll get some extra damage out of it, but at best you're forcing a trade, so you're not actually gaining a card from it.
Right.
And so I think a card like this is probably fine and sealed. I'm just not very impressed with this one or the green one in general for competitive constructed, and that's fine. I mean,
I'll hold off my. I think breakthrough is very powerful, so I want to hold off on my judgment on breakthrough. I think mobility is less so. So my judgment is a little bit harsher on mech armory because of the mobility, but the power of breakthrough, regardless of the stat pump, can be a game ender, and you don't necessarily need to do that on an on-level creature. Like you can play a level 1 creature and give it breakthrough, and somebody tries to chump it with a 2 defense unit or something, and you just like get the 3 or 4 points of damage you need to actually win the game. So I think breakthrough gives you real winning.
That does not sound like a winning proposition in most games that go to cycle 3 or 4. Is like play 2 level 1 cards in cycle 4.
I mean, it happens though because you don't have the density. I mean, unless you've got a real heavy like Nathas style upgrade deck, you're not going to have upgrade density past cycle 3. You in theory, you're down to 1 or 2.
I know that it happens, but the number of games where you play 2 level 1s in cycle 3 that you win is very low.
Sure, I'm not saying it is, but I'm just saying like there's still some game there. I don't feel like there's game with mobility there, just personally.
Agreed. I 100% agree that the blue one is worse than the green one.
Yep. Cool. Okay.
I'm going back and looking here just to see in the spoilers if there was another like pump attack one for purple or red, and I don't see one, but there is like there are multiple ones like this that just come into play with 2 energy counters.
Okay.
Including the one we're about to talk about, which the next one I think is actually very good.
Let's talk about River of Souls then.
Yeah.
This is purple. Put 2 energy counters on this. Cycle 1, it says remove an energy counter from this to play a mindless zombie minion in this lane. Then if there are no energy counters on this, destroy this. Level 1, cycle 3. Hello. Core adding in here. This is then got a ability that says remove an energy counter from this to reanimate a 1 creature in this lane. Then if there are no, so this is like a mini Stitcher effect, right? Like, and then it's.
Hey, hang on real quick. Eli actually asked kind of an interesting question about the previous one. I know there's a little bit of stream delay. He was saying, how would you feel if the effects were swapped where the mobility was guaranteed but the attack was level gated? I'm gonna expand this question also to the green one, and I think that the green one would be far better if it gave breakthrough at all levels and only pumped if the creature was on level. The blue one I think would remain pretty mediocre in either case.
Just because of mobility. Right?
Just because mobility is kind of mediocre. But the idea of that is a good question to ask about the green one, where I think the green one would be much, much better if it just is like activate, give a creature breakthrough. If it's a level 1, give it attack. If it's a level 2, give it attack, whatever.
So then the level 3 version of River of Souls is a 1 or 2 creature. Reanimate a 1 or 2 creature. This card,
dope.
This card is insane. I mean, this has got to be a great card, right?
Well, yeah, essentially all the cards that give you access to your banish pile are very powerful.
But this isn't banish pile access because you have to reanimate a creature in this lane. So you're reanimating the creature that's already in this lane. So the creature has to have a deploy effect, right?
You just get a creature from your banish pile and you put it into the lane of the River of Souls.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. My brain's not working. Remove an energy counter from this to reanimate a 1 creature in this lane. So not to reanimate the 1 creature in this lane. It's basically Stitcher, right? I mean,
well, it's arguably better than Stitcher,
right? Because you don't have the minion sacrifice component,
right? And I mean, there are cases where Stitcher is better, and Stitcher does some wackier stuff, as we saw earlier in the stream,
right?
Which this card would never do, I assume.
Well, like, it runs out of counters.
Potentially.
In theory.
again, imagine if there was a card, the same card I said, imagine if there was a card for Gox from earlier that was like somehow untap an Exalt and put an energy counter on it. Like that's like a design that could potentially exist, and then you go kind of nutso. Um,
Because right now you could Ankh saying the energizing creature, you could replace the energizing creature, but you still are stuck with a tapped River of Souls unless you can untap it in some way. So you're only going to get so far, right?
right,
Now,
but any time that you like you have to remember that this card is multiple cards every time for sure.
sure,
Unless they have an Exalt removal. In which case it's probably still technically multiple cards because like we play level 1 River of Souls, we get a 3/3.
right,
They kill the River of Souls, so we ended up getting a 3/3 plus they discarded the card they used to kill River of Souls. So it's like a small 2-for-1. Most of the time it's just gonna be 2/3/3s and that's 2-for-1, but then at level 2 and level 3, you get like two lower level creatures, but of your choice and ones that you're playing in your deck to do this with. So uh you can I imagine this leads to some bonkers stuff. Um
yeah. Ankh
because
adding it's
it
not
gives
necessarily
you
to go infinite, but just to give you an unkillable creature in the lane. Um, Newt's adding that this card, Direhound and Hantu, all look very solid together.
yeah, this like you're not going to go infinite probably. I assume that they did a good enough job designing cards in the set to stop that from happening. Because I can't foresee a way that this goes infinite with anything that wouldn't already go infinite with from set 1 and 2.
Right.
So but you just get so much incremental advantage. Like you just it's like in cycle 2 it's like I played a level 1 instead of level 2, but then next turn I play 3 cards.
Yeah.
Like you know,
Yeah.
the level 1 is kind of mediocre because 2/3/3s is kind of like a single card, but the level 2 and 3 versions are definitely like multiple 2-for-1s that affect the board immediately and like just really good. This card seems really good to me.
Eli says that I think it's likely that Tempe's creature could have a self-sacrifice feature that likes to die over and over again. Looking forward to seeing what wants to get the energize modifier. Yeah. Obviously, I mean, this is the kind of thing like, you know, we talk a lot about like non-fused creatures, right? Non-forged creatures being the stars of the show, but I mean, you can't have forged spells. So I think that an Exalt like this, combined with the potentially cool synergies that can exist within the Forge modifiers from set 3, we could see some really neat stuff come out of this. I mean, this card has just nearly limitless potential just with the base set 1, set 2 cards we know, right? So there's a lot of activity here and a lot of possibility with a card like this.
Just like off the top of my head, like if you have a Mongosaur in your banish pile, it's just tap deal 5 plus trigger any like you played a guy's triggers.
Right.
Because Eli is right. You want something that easily that you'll easily free up the lane.
Right.
So that you can use it again.
Right.
That's like the one hard part of the get 2 cards out of it. But that doesn't seem that hard.
No. And honestly, if somebody just leaves your creature in that lane and doesn't you know, can chump for a while or whatever, like you're just getting that same sort of incremental advantage we saw out of Rumblespark to a certain degree. Right? So
even in its worst case scenario, like in cycle 2, let's say you have a reasonably sized guy, right?
Yep.
And I just played in that lane and reanimated dude into that lane. As long as whatever I reanimated into that lane has less life than your creature has power, like I know that was a valuable play.
Right.
Even if my creature was blank, right? I'm just like essentially getting free damage on your thing.
Right.
Because then obviously the combat would cause the lane to empty.
Right. Yeah, I mean this card looks bonkers, dude.
Yeah, it's sweet.
Yeah.
This card's super sweet.
Yeah, I mean, more than most, adding Gox could get multiple free exalt plays throughout the game. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely different things that can happen here. It's just we'll have to see. But I mean, obviously, like opening a River of Souls in your purple half is going to open up a lot of deck possibilities for sure. Carboni says this with Nova Elementalist and Dark Heart Sorcerer. If Dark Heart Sorcerer exists in set 3 alongside this card, I mean, wow. That's what I'm gonna say. Wow.
So looking back at the spoilers we've seen so far, I'm going to go ahead and make a claim here that I think probably there will be a cycle of energy exalts like this that are rare and a cycle that are common, because the green one that gives breakthrough is a common, and the blue one that gives mobility. Oh no, that one's a rare.
Yep.
Oh, it's a rare?
Welcome to Aloyan. Everything's more expensive.
Ugh.
They have their tax, man.
Jesus.
The tax man cometh in Aloyan.
The other green one is a rare. The one that Nathis showed off a few weeks ago.
Right.
Or no. Yeah, it was Nathis. It's the one that's like activate remove an energy counter to play a wisp, or activate remove an energy to play a level 1 from your hand for free.
Right.
So that's like a very similar type of effect. Obviously this is way better with reanimates better than play from your hand for free.
Sure. Yeah, I don't know.
That's true, Ben. Maybe the blue one being a rare is actually a boon, so we won't see it as often. Just like Digitize.
Perfect.
Shots fired.
Perfect. You all are on the same page as us here.
God.
Okay. Well, I mean, Neil, we've made it to 9 o'clock. We got through all the
I told you it was
spoilers.
gonna take an hour to do these.
It always does. It always does. Every time. Obviously, I'm gonna put my boy down tonight, and then I'm gonna play Carl Testa and I'll record that game and upload it to the YouTube channel post timeline. If you want, Neil, I can send you the file and you can commentate over it if you want to watch it and do the commentary. Be a little bit more of an engaging experience then for the audience.
Okay.
And then obviously round 1 stuff is all due for glad I could keep the gameplay time down. Yeah, you did your job.
More than most
Eli.
with the more than most with the
no spoiler for us, Fletch. We didn't strong arm Lucas this week.
I'm gonna go talk to your boss again. Don't tempt me.
We didn't strong arm Lucas. No spoiler from us this week. We'll wait till we get our spoiler for next week. Like good little boys. We'll wait for Christmas.
Special thanks to Eli for turn 3ing me on the play.
Yeah, he did that to you. Might be the fastest game of Solforge I've ever witnessed. To be honest. You sent one to me? When?
Wow.
No. Did I send it to you, Neil? Yeah, I sent it to you, Neil. Oh yeah, I did. I did send it to you. I sent it to you on Friday and said spoiler for Wednesday. You are absolutely right, Fletch. This is all Neil's fault.
I made all those graphics for everyone else's, and I didn't make one for this. Huh?
We'll give Neil.
I don't remember even receiving this from you, but I do see it in the Slack.
Yep.
I guess you better put it up on the screen.
But they're separate files. Can you?
Well, just put one of them up on the screen, and we'll talk about it. It's not. They all do the same thing. Numbers just change.
Okay. Here we go. Shuffle bus spoiler. Do you see how organized we are? Elementalist Knight. Cycle 1 creature. 5/2 exalted. When an enemy creature with 4 attack or less enters this lane, destroy it. So cool, right? This is cool.
This card's cool.
I like this creature. I'm not a fan of
the additional
stats, but
the additional numbers are. It's a 7/4 that kills a 6-power guy and a 10/6 that kills a 9-power guy.
I'll pull them up.
Hold
on,
I mean, this card is a build around me, right? Like it's it's just okay by itself because we know already, as we talked about before, anything with the exalted keyword requires a small amount of work.
Yep.
Um, it's not like a huge amount of work. Obviously, the like 70% of the spoilers have been exalts, so we know there's gonna be a lot in the set. Um, its stats are small. It is front-ended, which is actually like I think the front-ended utility guys are better, especially in this case where they can't chump it. Like a 5/2 is like a card your opponent would want to chump block, right? Like they'd want to like throw a wisp in the lane or something like that, and they can't.
Right.
So like they have to fight it with a real guy, and it has 5 power, so it's like that's pretty reasonable for them to like be forced to make probably just an even or bad trade for them. Um,
I was trying to think of like
it's
what soul
oh,
like what exalts that we know of right now that could make this creature even more oppressive. I mean, obviously it's a mage warrior, so you could put it with Thundercrash Field, right? Because
I mean, I think oppressive is not the word you're going to use. Because you can never increase the range of guys it kills.
right,
Um, the and like at level 3, this guy's kind of small, right? Like at level 2, he's like not as effective. At level 1, I think he's a very good card. Um, but you're right. Like this is a card, even though I spent the whole night talking about how I don't like cards that only pump attack, this is a card that like kind of wants that just because you can't ever chump block it. It's
yeah.
a sweet one though.
4, 6, and 9 is the exalted status. Um, I do like this card. I'm not gonna lie, and honestly,
Yeah.
like this card
So
with the
what we
listing range,
need
kind of
is
cool.
we need the blue common energy exalt to be comes in play with 2 energy, activate to move one of your opponent's guys into that lane.
Yeah,
I don't know, like I know that blue has
or we
in
just
the
need
past
does
they have had the taunting adjective,
right.
but that doesn't work with this because obviously you can't put a taunting guy into the lane with the thing.
Are there any spells that
But
do that now, or exalts that do that now that force an enemy into a lane?
uh not that I'm aware of.
Okay, I couldn't
That
remember if there
doesn't
was
mean
a
they don't
set to
exist.
exalt. Metasite, sort of.
Metasites. Oh, well, um,
Metasite and a spoiler, and I just don't know it. No, it's a spell.
it swaps guys. That's the
Well, and honestly, you could swap them into an attack power that actually allows the knight to kill it.
right. That's like a fine thing. Um,
You did have a spoiler, Onk? Did we miss it?
if we missed Ankh spoiler, that is not my fault. That is on Fletch for not putting it in the spoilers channel of. I'm making sure here though, just in case.
There's a soulbind that does taunting effectively in Tempe's. Do we know what it's called?
Yeah, Ankh's. The reason I didn't get yours, Ankh, was because it is not posted in the
Slack.
winter whatever spoilers
If you guys want to put it in our Discord, like if you
Discord.
know, like if you get a spoiler and you've got it on an image or something, you want to throw it in our
But
Discord, then we can make sure to double check that our spoilers channel against the spoiler channel
yeah.
from SBE.
So if you want to know about Onks, go to Onk Gaming YouTube and check it out there. I'll probably put it on Netweight next week. But
yeah, we'll just cover it next week because we're out of time tonight. But Palladium Pulse Mage and Metasite decks. What's the Pulse Mage? I don't remember the Pulse Mage.
Palladium Pulse Mage is
Destroy the creature with their lowest health.
like little guy killer thing, yeah.
Goliath is the soulbind.
Does that move creatures or does it only move exalts? I'm looking it up.
The Rage Idol moves enemy creatures to the lane, and then deals 2 damage to the enemy player. And the Rage of Cadras, which is the transform version,
Well,
is
so the Goliath can't work with our new guy because Goliath moves enemy creatures to his lane. So you can't
right. But you can
um
put the Rage Idol. Oh, I guess I see what you're saying.
right. It's the same as like a taunting creature.
Right.
They can't both occupy the same lane.
Right.
So it's not like really a combo. Um
Yep. Yep. Goliath is the taunt, not the Rage Idol. If the Rage Idol was the taunt, then yeah, absolutely. Okay.
yeah. The Metasite might be the only thing right now. But I mean, it's not out of this world to think that there will be uh enemy creature movement stuff if this is a design in the set, right?
Yeah. Or it could be
Because
building.
if
It could be
if
building
there's
to.
not,
Well, it could be building to a future set too, where they want to explore that in a future set, right? Like this might be a card that
yeah.
comes into its own in a set 4, set 5, or something too. You just never know. But Hindermine, Palladium Hindermine.
I mean, it's kind of funny. Like we were talking about how mobility is not very good. It is really funny to put this guy in a lane adjacent to a mobility creature.
That's true.
Obviously, one that it would kill if if it
Right.
can't kill it, then it's not as funny. But like, uh,
Hindermine's probably pretty good with this because they're both mages. They trigger off of each other. So the knight is a mage, so the Hindermine would second ability would actually matter here. That's probably pretty good. Pretty good.
oh, that's funny. If you play Hindermine, you can give your opponent's creature armor and then move them to the lane with this guy. And obviously it just kills it, so the armor doesn't matter.
Why wouldn't you just give your own creature armor though? Oh, you have to move that
because
creature.
because you have to move the creature you give
Give the
armor to.
Yeah, yeah.
So like, yeah, that's pretty funny actually. That's really good.
All right. On that note, that's a good way to end the night. So, enjoy your Hindermine to Elementalist night spoilers, and we will see you all next Wednesday for more Solforge action. Be sure to get your round 1 games
Yep.
in if you're a league player. We close the round out Sunday night at midnight Central, which is GMT -5 for those of you that are not in the same time zone as me. And then we will pair up Monday morning for round 2. So good luck to everybody who's playing, and we will see you all next Wednesday. Have a fantastic weekend. Good night.